From foundation to finish,
We take care of everything.
Mass Home Contractors.
Enjoy this cut.
Yeah, my man. No, and so with H1, H2, right? Say, how do I'm gonna say I'm a person, I'm at a point where, hey, I want to get started investing in real estate, right? Um, you know, maybe I don't have any experience, right? But I got, say, $30,000 in my bank account, $50,000 in my bank account, and I got some money to head in. I got a good GC that I work with, or that I'm trying to work with. Like, how do I get started working with H1, H2 if I'm like at ground zero? How do I get started working with H1, H2?
Yeah. So how do you get started with H1H2? Understanding what you're trying to get into, I think, is your first hurdle, is knowing, hey, what type of project do I want to do? And then what do I qualify for from a financing standpoint? If it's your first ever deal, we try to say, keep it simple on the first one. Don't go and try to buy the 3-family that needs $700,000 of work. Go buy the single family that needs $60,000 of work and start with that and go. So usually what we would do is kind of get an idea when somebody calls us and says, hey, Luke, I want to learn about financing. Here's the type of projects that I'm looking at. That's the most helpful. So if you already know what type of project you're looking at, then I can really guide you and say, hey, this is what you can expect from me. So now you can go after bidding on those projects, knowing what your money is going to look like behind you. So if you don't know what kind of project you're looking at, then you're going to get like a really broad answer from, oh, well, I might be able to do this. I might be able to do that. I don't know until I see it. So some of the easy metrics that we pay attention to, in the simple one that this goes for anybody, no matter their experience, is the better you keep your credit, the easier you're going to be to lend to. And that's become more and more apparent over the last few years. We don't want to have to do anything, after we close this loan as far as recourse goes. I don't want to ever have to foreclose on you. I don't want to have to penalize you. I don't want to do any of those things. And the people who show they have good credit, statistically, are people that we don't have to go do that stuff with. So it costs me less money to do fewer deals with better operators than it would be to say, I'm just going to say yes because you bought a good project, you got a good deal, and now I can go, hope you fail, and then I can take it and go down that. Or like, we don't like that. That's too much time consumption and too much effort, and then you don't like dealing with when people don't have to get through a project, because then it's a messy space. But
It's never fun.
But when somebody comes and says, hey, I'm looking to buy something for I'll use round numbers. I'm going to buy something for 100,000, maybe in like Timbuktu, not anywhere around here.
Massachusetts.
I'm going to buy it for 100, and I plan to put $15,000 into the renovation, and then I can sell it for 250. So maybe if that's kind of the ballpark of the numbers that they're looking at. I'm looking at the ratios for that. So they say, okay, hey, they're buying it for 100, and the renovation's about 15% of what the property is trading for. So, okay, that's pretty light renovation. I like that. That's a good place to start. If you're buying it for 100 and you're putting 100 in, that's a big deal. You're doubling the value of of what you're buying it for. So then that renovation, to me, I'm looking at that ratio and saying, wow, this is a huge project. Excuse me. It doesn't always map out that way. There's unique circumstances, of course, but first time flipper going into that saying, hey, I'm going to buy it. I have good credit. What can you give me? Our product is set up now. So if you have, let's say you credit in like the mid 700s, and you're going to do your renovation at 20, maybe 25% at the most of what you're purchasing the property for, we could do a down payment of somewhere between 10 and 15% for that operator. So that's it right now in market. I think the best you'll find. Most people, and even us, in up to 2 weeks ago, we were looking for 20, maybe 25, even in some circumstances in that. So we've heard the market, we've talked to a lot of people, and that's become the big barrier to entry. So we say, hey, look, if you're starting with the right type of deals, you're starting with a smaller project, you're doing that, like we call them a prove it deal. You're doing one or two of those to say, yeah, like I got this, I got the chops to do this thing. Do that. We'll help you get into those. And then as you do have success in that, you build into some of those bigger ones where you're spending a little bit more money. Maybe you do a full gut, or maybe you're putting an addition on or something like that. Like we'll get you there as you can show you can execute. But knowing what you're getting into first will help us tell you what your loan capabilities will be. So then you can turn around and build your numbers out.
Thank you for watching this video.
Like and subscribe, and please comment below.
Thank you so much.